somewhere. All right, cool. Here we are. So I'm with you guys. Really great to be here. I've got a lot to cover. I've got the 2-day workbook here in front of me. For those of you who's coming to the 2-day event, give me a yes if you are. We've got them coming up in all sides of the world. They're in the, we're obviously going to be over in the United States really soon, and here in the Gold Coast. So it's pretty exciting to have that. I'm going to cover a little bit out of this as well. I'm really excited to be here with you guys today and be sharing some really good work. Actually, we're going to be covering a little bit of a conflict process, one of my newest processes that even the certification students haven't yet seen. So you guys can be excited about that. That's always fun to release some of these new things. And I think it's very interesting and very confirming to me to really keep sharing this work and having so many of you, see this for the first time and go, wow, okay, I really do get this. I understand how to create. So I want to start off with some principles, and we cover these obviously in more detail at the 2-day, but I think it's important that we go through some of these core beliefs or these core structures for you to understand who you are, how manifestation can happen, and how it can happen really fast. So I wanted to go through some of the Hermetic principles. So is there anyone here who's never heard of Hermes or the Hermetic principles, and this is your first time you've ever heard them? Cool. Well, that's exciting. So I'm going to give you the lay version of this very fast. We cover more of it, but I just want to do it to get my point across today about there is a new way of being. So, Hermes the Great, Hermes Trismegistus was around a long time ago. There's many different schools of thought about whether he was Egyptian or where he came from, but a lot of his knowledge has been passed down, and you see it in most religions. It comes through in different, Christianity, or you see it in Hinduism or Buddhism. You see a lot of the principles, and what I love about it is it's like these 7 really core principles that explain things way before science was able to prove it. But now science is catching up. So it's a nice thing to understand. And so the book, the Kybalion, spelled, can someone type it in? Someone who knows how to spell it, Kyblion, I think, by the 3 Initiates is a great book. It's not actually by 3 people. I forget the man's name who wrote it. He wrote it in the 1920s. Thanks, Edwina. And it's a really good read of understanding, what was really passed down thousands of years ago. So anyway, the first principle is the principle of mentalism. And so the principle of mentalism is that the all is mind and the universe is mental. It's a mind. And this is a very interesting concept, and we're starting to see it now with the work of someone like Lynn McTaggart, the field, and Nassim Haramein coming out with his amazing work on black holes and unified field theory, and understanding that we really are one big mind. And so this was said a long time ago, but I love to understand and learn about the principle of mentalism. Euphemia, the name of the book was typed in just before in Zoom here. So Kybalion, Kyblion, by the 3 Initiates. Okay, anyway, so the principle of mentalism, when you start to study and understand that, did it? Let me grab it then. I see. Edwina just typed it to me, not everyone else. Here you go. Thanks, though. There it is. So that's the book there. The unified field theory is that, and it's very real, is that we are all connected, and we're a field, and we are just different perspectives of the same field looking at it itself. And this is very interesting, and science has now been able to work with electrons that are entangled on different sides of the planet. And without any energy exchange, they're able to influence this electron. And because it's connected to this other electron, the other one is able to see change. Now, why is that important to you? Well, when we do this work, I connect into your field. Does that make sense? Because the universe it's all mental. And so the way that I like to think about this is, and how the superconscious recode really connects with you, okay, is you're here and you're a field that has a finite barrier, but there's an infinite amount of divisions inside of your field, okay? So inside of you, so that's you, that's your field. And inside of you, there's an infinite amount of divisions. What I mean by that is you're made up of, I think it's like 100 billion cells, and each one of those cells is made up of 50 to a billion different atoms. And out of those atoms, so just think about the size of these divisions. It's completely infinite. Each one of those atoms is made up of, billions of this and billions of this, and it just gets smaller and smaller. But what's interesting is because the universe is a field, and because we are a field more than we are just one individual, if that's you, you are a smaller part of a bigger field known as your family. This is you. And then your family is a smaller part of a bigger field called humanity. Now, when we do the recode, I go up from my level, up through my family, up into the universal field known as humanity. And so this unified field has a superconscious. So when I connect, guys, I'm actually stopping being myself and expanding out to first my family field, then out to humanity. And then when you give me permission, I'm zoomed up out here. And that's how I'm able to know what needs to be recoded. Does that make sense, guys? Give me a yes if you get it, because that's how we do it. Because I'm not you. I'm not you. You're not me. However, we are connected because science, right? And so I told you I was going to go through this fast. So that principle is the principle of mentalism, that everything is just one mind, and we're all different aspects of the same one mind looking in on itself. Does that make sense? Cool. I'm not sure which bit you want me to say again, Pamela, but I hope it made sense. Is we're all part of one field, and so yeah, Stephen Greer's a great guy. I think it's PH, not a V though, Andy. Stephen Greer's a great guy. Lynn McTaggart, the field is awesome. You guys all should be looking at Nassim Haramein and what Joe Dispenza is putting out, and Bruce Lipton. Just amazing, because science now has proved that, one example I like the most is they took DNA of a person and they had it in a military base in the United States, and then they had that DNA, and then they had the person on the other side of the world, some other military base. As that person started watching funny and hilarious movies, their vibration increased, and at the exact same time, the DNA that they had on the other side of the world's vibration changed and increased because it was completely entangled. And so I love talking about this. I love exploring this unified field. Very, very, very cool. So I can become the superconscious and the unified field, okay? And you're that as well. So when I do the work, I just become a part of me that's you. Right? And you just give me permission to then experience you from this bigger version here. And that is why when we do the recode, I can work with hundreds of you, right? I can work with hundreds of you because I connect to a field that's all of us, and I can see what's in the field of the people who've just given me permission. That's why it's very important. I'm like, give me permission. As you give me permission, I notice what's in the field. So anyway, that's a nice quick overview of principle of mentalism, how it fits into what we do. The second principle, so the second principle is the principle of correspondence, okay? Principle of correspondence, as above, so below. And this is very interesting. I mean, the percentage of water on the planet compared to land is the same amount of percentage we have in our body. The salt content's identical. You can look in at a human eye or look out at a universe, and you can see the correspondence. And this is a very interesting principle. If you want to learn the nature of the universe, you don't have to go outside of yourself. You can go in, and you are a universe. And this is a beautiful, beautiful principle. As within, so without, as without, so within. So the principle of correspondence, it allows me to really go, okay, the world is going to correspond to me. Does that make sense? It's going to correspond to me because as I shift, it can shift. Someone asked me, is it called the quantum field? The more research I do into quantum physics, the more I realize that I like the unified field theory a lot more. So quantum physics is really buggy. It's really buggy when you look at it too much, yeah. But you could call it the quantum field. Cool. So that's a principle of correspondence. I think we all get that one. The next one is the principle of vibration. And this is can someone type these in? Principle of correspondence, principle of vibration, principle of mentalism. We go into these deep in the 2-day and help you to really expand it. But vibration, principle of vibration, nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. And I think Bruce Lipton explains this the best. He says, well, just because, everything vibrates, everything moves, but if you had a tornado and you took all the dust out of it, even though there's nothing physical there, you couldn't walk through it. And so that's the same when something's vibrating so fast or moving so quick, you still can't go through it. It can seem as though it's physical, but the idea of physicality is actually two vibrations that just can't go through each other. They just can't go through each other. And so everything vibrates, everything moves, including what you want to create. Including what you want to create. And so the principle of vibration, that nothing's at rest, everything is moving. It's why we can tune into and create ourselves and recreate it, because it's moving, it's vibrating. So the fourth principle is the principle of polarity, okay? Principle of polarity. Everything is dual, everything has poles, everything has opposites, okay? And opposites are very identical. I really like this saying, and I want you to write this down. All truths are but half-truths. And they're not exactly half, but it means that in every truth, there's also an untruth. In every good, there's a little bit of bad. Obviously, we've got a great symbol of the yin and the yang that really helps us to understand that. But what I want you to take away from that principle today is nothing that you desire is all good. And nothing that you resist is all bad. This is a very important concept. See, when we do the double bubble, who's done the double bubble? Give me a yes if you've done the double bubble with me, where you remove resistance. We get into the wizard's gate. Yeah. Some haven't yet. It's definitely one of the recordings, Andy, one of my favorite. I love the double bubble. And one of the key reasons why the double bubble works so well is when we understand that in the thing we resist, there is also good. In the thing we desire, there's also not so good. And this allows us to collapse into it, realizing that really the only thing we have is the now. The only thing we have is the now, the principle of polarity. I also quite like this principle of polarity, that everything has its opposite. When you're trying to get away from let's call it, let's use money. So if you're trying to get away from broke, okay, and you want to be rich, when you set up your life like away from towards like this, it's like hot and cold. And the thing is you never really know if you're hot or you're cold. Because when does cold really get hot? You know what I mean? Like, when does it really? They're all just different degrees of cold. And that's what's really interesting. A lot of people, when they have money, it's just a different degree of being broke. Think about that for a second. They started off as broke and they just kept heating it up and 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 heating it up. But it's just a different degree of that. Instead of going, you know what? The only thing I'm having is the now, which is I want it to be rich. Now I'm already here. And then you're not in this polarity, which is interesting. Anyway, that's the fourth principle. So the fifth principle, one that we all must remember, the principle of rhythm. The principle of rhythm. So everything flows in and out. Type it in, the principle of rhythm. Everything has tides. Everything will rise. Everything will fall. Everything's a pendulum. The principle of rhythm. This is very, very important. For me, allowing myself to have times when it's time just to have a winter, you know, and then have a forward swing, to understand that everything has a rhythm. Now, what the Hermetics used to say is you can rise above and not have to have the backward swing, not experience it, and therefore you can minimize it by not resisting it. But everything has a rhythm. Right on, Mark. Everything has a rhythm. You have a circadian rhythm every single day. We have a biorhythm. We have a biological clock that's a rhythm. The moon has a rhythm, right? Our year has a rhythm. There's a rhythm to things. Tides have a rhythm. Right on, Kat. And so sometimes in our humanness, we can only want to ever see the forward rhythm. Hey, who's with me? Like, I don't want to, you know, but we've got to understand that there's a time, you know. Farmers can't be harvesting and then harvesting and then harvesting and then harvesting, right? They got to plant the seed sometimes. It's got to be some time to wait, and then they can go. Okay. The sixth principle is the principle of cause and effect. Every cause has an effect. Every effect has its cause. Everything happens by law. Chance is but a name for law not recognized. And so we cause a lot more. We cause a lot more than we think by changing our vibration. And it's very interesting. When I talk to people about the law of attraction, they don't seem to realize that if they change their vibration and they feel different, not only are people moving and things moving towards them, but they're moving towards it, you see. It's very interesting, you know, just the slight changes you make. You go to this seminar versus that. You click on this ad, not that one. You know, you go into this cafe, not that cafe, just because of the way that you're vibing with something. That one doesn't feel good. Then you're in this one. Then you meet someone. Then this happens. Then this happens, and so on and so on. Who gets it? Everything has a cause. And it's very hard. I think Steve Jobs said, you know, you can't connect the dots looking forward, right? And so it is powerful, Andrew. You don't really know. And all we got to know is we got to take the next obvious action, take the next obvious action. And then the last one is the principle of gender. The principle of gender. So the principle of gender says everything, every manifestation has a masculine and a feminine. Every single manifestation, every action has a masculine and a feminine. So sometimes when we ask people, well, what's the obvious action? You know, they always want to have a masculine action. And what's a masculine action? Go for it, take charge, attack, go. You're in there, set intention, go. Very, very, very masculine. And then the other one is feminine, and feminine action is what really nurtures and grows something. And so just imagine someone who's always in the masculine action. Imagine they're trying to grow a forest. And all they do is plant seeds, plant seeds, plant seeds, plant seeds, plant seeds, and wonder why there's no forest. Where they've got to plant. Well, what if someone planted the seeds and all they do is just water the plant every day? Just masculine action. They don't nurture it, don't nurture themselves, don't wait, don't think. But what about the opposite? What if all they do is think and nurture themselves and wait and think and nurture and care for? Could everyone see that in every single thing you've manifested, you've got to go on the date and then you've got to feel love. You've got to feel love with yourself and then go on the date. You've got to have both. And this was like, when I started studying alchemy and started really getting into, how does creation happen? The feminine was so hard. I was like, what do you mean I've got to surrender? What I mean, I got to surrender. But at the same time, I hear people saying, just surrender. Of course, you can't just surrender and let it come to you. You've also got to go. And so for a lot of us, we're very practiced in one of them. In fact, in society, we're quite against feminine action, like, why are you taking a day off? Why are you, we call it procrastination sometimes, when really it's a feminine nurturing or an action. However, I also agree that sometimes we can get caught in the feminine, looking after herself or nurturing or not wanting to take action, and that's just as bad. So that's my super fast review of the Hermetic principles. I skimmed across the surface of the surface, but I really wanted you guys to just have a little bit of structure. Did you guys enjoy it, by the way? Just having a little glimpse at it. It's very deep work, obviously. Very, very important stuff, because I don't really think many of us got given the rule book of how this universe works. And it's amazing to me that something that is, so old is now able to be proven through, science and everything else. So how I came to today talking to you guys about Hermetic principles is a lot of you are asking, well, how do I know what to recode? And the answer is when you're a superconscious creator, you have access to so much more information than when you're just being you. If you're just being you, you've only got this information here. But you're not just you. You're not just you. All of the information in the universe is held in a tiny little Planck scale. Tiny. You can't even imagine how small this is. I was listening to Nassim Haramein a couple of years ago, and Nassim's amazing, by the way. Hugely recommend it. He said, okay, well, all of the information is present in this tiny, 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 tiny thing. And so when we learn to be intuitive and we learn to get out of our limited view, and we can come up to the unified field, if we can come up to superconscious, that is when we get access to so much more. And when you're up there, you can understand and see what's going on with other people. You can really, really get a head start. And obviously that's what we teach at the Superconscious Creator course, of really how to get out of your way and become something bigger. So let's talk about you. Let's do some work, hey? Let's do some work. What I would like to really have you guys get today is really in momentum. So let's jump straight in. Let's jump straight in. What is a choice or end result that you would like to manifest that you haven't been able to yet? And just type it in, or if you've written it down, a number one. What is something you would like to create? So you have a current reality and a desired reality, and you would like the current reality to be here. Okay, obvious. No, that's not an end result, Mark. We'll just get into a big end result. Come on. Don't throw me those little things. I love you, Andrew. End result. I'm with you on it. Okay, so consistency in what? What we don't want to do is we don't want to choose the path to get there. What a lot of us want to do is instead of choosing the end result or the desired reality, it's scary. So instead, we choose a way we think we need or a thing we need to do to get there. Okay, and it's actually whenever you do that, whenever you choose the process. Okay, so whenever you choose a process, I can always see your sabotage pattern. So when someone says to me, I need consistency, what is it that I get? They have a belief that they don't follow through, that they're not good enough, blah, 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 blah. All this rubbish about themselves. What are they doing? They're making success personal. True? Yeah. Yeah. So, get responsible about priorities. So there's another one. See, that's not an end result. And it's a very important thing. In our society, we have not been taught to step into end results. We've been taught to plan our way to get there. Okay? We've taught it that we need to focus on a process or a plan. We need to figure it out. We've also been taught that we focus on what we don't want. We've also been taught that we must fix ourselves. And so it's every week what I find is most of us are still not stepping into end results. True? Yeah, right on, Keats. Yeah, I like that, Julie. Those are two, though. So when you want to create something in the universe, you go to the end result of it because that allows your intuition to know what you really want. See, if you go, well, I want to do this, you're limiting what's possible based on only what you've experienced in your life. I like it, Katie. Does that make sense? You're only choose. So basically, you're saying the only things I can choose are what I know about. There could be a completely different way. So we first got to go completely to an end result. Yeah, right. But you can see, Julie, those are two different things, and they were both good. All right, they were both good. Yeah, both of those are fine. They're just different intentions. Yeah. Annette said, so if we step into it and start behaving like we already have it, then it will come. If we step into it and then take the obvious actions that someone would take to get there, then yeah, it will be there. I like it. Okay, cool. So I think everyone's got it. I think everyone's got a good, clear end result. Does anyone want me to quickly go over how we create ineffective choices? Does anyone need me to do that? I've got the book here, so I can quickly run through it. I think I need to. Yeah, I think I need to. It's actually, everyone wants me to do the recode, right? And I love that. But actually, most of the time, people are not stepping into a true choice. Like, here's a true choice. Okay, everyone type this in. This is a true choice. I want a healthy body that allows me to live my life to the full. That's true. I just want that. That is a true end result. A healthy body that allows me to live my life. That's a true choice. See, that's not that's an end result. Here's another one. I want to live my true nature and purpose. That's another. Or I want to be financially abundant, or I want to, so it's an end. It's getting into this end. Let me just grab them. I was reviewing the book today. Okay, so we're going to go through these fast. These are the ways that we create ineffective choices. I want you to type these in. The first one is limitation. We choose only what seems possible or reasonable. Okay. The sabotaging identity is, well, I'm not good enough for big things, so we limit it. We limit it, and you can hear it in the words, right? I just want, 50 this or 30 this or 1 million that. It's limiting. Okay, the next is indirectness. We choose for the process instead of the result. Okay, so process, I've got to get better at my priorities, or I've got to be more consistent. Choice by elimination. Okay, we're not actually powerfully choosing. Elimination is we eliminate all other options. We just look at what I don't want that. That's not right. Then we choose this. This one's a little bit similar, but default. Choice by default. Okay. Default is when we just don't make a choice. We just get carried around by life. We never chose. I was just born in this town, and it was just, the job that I wanted, and I just did this, and then that, and they just, they just never chose. They just stayed being a victim to circumstances. Number 5, conditions. Okay, imposing preconditions on choices. A lot of people that are in a relationship, they say, I want an amazing relationship with this person here. And I remember that's what I used to. I used to say, I want a loving, intimate relationship with Harriet, So I used to put conditions on it. And you can see that if you put conditions on it, that has to be with a certain person, then you're not in your end result, right? My end result was to have a loving, amazing, connected marriage. That's what I wanted. And, it's obvious that it's with Harriet. And so it's getting into the end result, because then you're in your heart, rather than it's got to be with this person, because if it wasn't with this person, well, then I'm all right. So who knows what I mean by that? But that's a tough one for people, right? They're like, no, it's got to be with this person. But can you see the limitation? Can you see and feel the control and the worry and everything in that when you have to put it around this person? That's not true at all, Mark. That's not true for me. So the next is choice by reaction. Choice by reaction. So, or conditions, choice by reaction. And so this is when something is not what you want, so you react to it. Okay, so your choice is actually a reaction to a circumstance that you don't want. And so, sometimes I'll be talking with someone, they'll say, yeah, well, I want this because, I want to show this person, or because my dad abused me, or my mother, never loved me, I'm going to help others to get love. And it's like, was it really a true choice, or are you just reacting to a circumstance? Choice by reaction. My boss fired me, so I started a job. And there's no power in any of these. The next is choice by consensus, which is where you don't choose for you, you ask everyone else what they think, and when what they all tell you to do, you do it. And the last one, I call it adverse possession. adverse possession. Possession, like you possess something. An adverse possession. What I mean by an adverse possession is a lot of people, it's really funny. Thanks, Monica. That's it. A lot of people, so sometimes someone will come to sign up to one of my programs, right? And because we're an Australian company and they might be in Canada, their card doesn't go through, right? And it's got nothing to do with anything other than that their banks just put a block because they see an Australian company. And so anyway, they just have to ring their bank and it's all fine. But some people literally, they're like, well, that's a sign. It's a sign. I shouldn't do this. That's the sign. And we're like, no, actually, it's just this bank. Like, it's just this thing there. And so they make it this thing, It's like, I saw 3 ones as I was driving, and then I met him for dinner, so he must be the one. Or he mentioned blah, 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 and I was thinking about that earlier. Does that make sense? Can you ever give me a yes if you get it? It's like their choice isn't powerful. They have outsourced it to something else. They've said, oh, well, because that thing was there, that, So anyway, limitation, indirectness, elimination, default, conditions, reaction, consensus, and adverse possession. Those are the 8 ways we create ineffective choices. And if your choices are made that way, you're actually not a powerful creator. I'm glad that you believe in it, Katie. And so I'm not trying to compete with a belief. I'm explaining that when people make a decision and they base it not on their own powerful choice, that something else influences them. It's not them just choosing. Does that make sense? Yeah. And so, I'm super connected. This is for the events, guys. This is the 2-day event book, which I think you're all coming to. I believe guides help us. I believe there's also other entities that don't help us. Does that make sense, Katie? So I believe that if you believe that guides help you and can send you a sign, then you also have to understand that there's other entities that can do the exact same thing to lead you down a different path. Does that make sense? And so my point is to, okay, those are good, and to be able to make your own decisions and be in your own choices and understand how to create your own intuition. And so what I'm wanting you to do is bring the power back to you, and bring you into that superconscious state. So that was as fast as I've ever gone through those. This is normally a 2-hour section. But was it good? A lot of time. And who are my coaches on here? Coaches who are getting certified. We have to get people in true choice. If someone comes to you and they say, I want to get rid of this, or there's any sneaking untrue choice, like I just want to be healthy, or just another $1,000 would be good. Any of these, the recode, superconscious recode can't do that from a non-powerful place. Does that make sense? Rob said, how does one decipher between good and the bad? Well, I'm going to teach you right now how to get your own readings, how to get your own intuition, rather than needing to rely on anything else that we've just talked about. Anything else. Okay. It's very, very cool. So let's do that. So did everyone create and has got a true choice? Just give me a yes if you've got a true choice of working on it. It needs to be just one. Okay. Great. So what I want you to do, okay, is we're going to just make the true choice. All right. So for example, the choice is to have financial abundance, or the true choice is to be have a healthy body, so you can live your life to the full. Just your true choice to have an amazing marriage, or to have a loving family, whatever. Just I want you to step into a true choice. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a circle. Okay, we're going to create a circle, and the circle's got nothing in it. But we're going to make sure the circle is joined. And if you want to draw a circle in front of you, it will really help you. Okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to define this circle, and we're going to define your circle as that true choice. Okay? So I'll define my circle here as it's having the end result of of total financial abundance. Actually, my true choice is abundance of resources. True choice. And so I want you to make your true choice. And what I'm going to have you do is I'm just going to have you step into it with an open mind and notice what's there when you have it. Can we do it? Yeah, Mark, it does. Great question. Yeah, it's one of them. It's not conditional. I would say that it is. Yeah, it is conditional. Okay, cool. So that's what we're going to do. It's close the eyes. We're going to step into having it, and I just want you to have no expectations of what's there. Okay, and we're going to step into this result and just experience it. Okay, so close your eyes. Just close your eyes right now. I'm going to guide you through it. Just close your eyes. Just stay here, just right in the present moment. Close your eyes and have a few breaths. Okay, and when I say now, I'm going to have you step into this end result and have it all, okay? So I just want you to know that there is a time and a place in this space-time reality where you have everything you want, but it may or may not be what you thought. I want you just to be in a receiving state, be open to what gets there, have no expectations. Superconscious, can you clear all expectations? Yes. Okay. So we're going to step into the end result like it's a portal, and we're going to jump in with 2 feet now and just jump into that end result and notice what's there. Notice how it feels. I choose the end result of, and it feels like. So being in the end result, tune in. Allow yourself to receive. Superconscious, please clear all beliefs and thoughts that are blocking receiving what's there. Thank you. Who's there, and what have you created in this end result? What's your identity in this end result? And who are you? Now you're in this end result. I want you to think back. Think back to the person who didn't have this. Think back to them all the way back there. What was the obvious next step that they had to take to move from where they are to this place? What was the next step? They had to, it can be a masculine or a feminine action. They had to what? When you've got it, open your eyes and type in the action. What was the obvious action that needed to take place? I like it. What was the obvious action? Brilliant. Brilliant. Right on, Nathan. Brilliant. Nice. So someone got nothing. Surrender. Just keep doing what you're doing. Be, let go. See, everyone always gets something. I just got, well, here's some long ones. This is good. Get my current business staffed. Move. Nice. Meditations in the feminine. Nice. Right on, Mark. That's it, brother. So who did everyone get an action? It can be feminine and masculine. Yeah. See, you're super conscious. See, some of you say, no, I didn't get an action. Okay, so I've seen 2 of you out of 60 something. 2 have said no. 3 have said no, I didn't get an action. Okay, so, well, that's good. That's good. So 3 of you haven't got an action. Okay, and I'm going to work with you 3 as well to make sure that you all understand. Before I do that, is when you learn to step into your end result and use your superconscious intuition to tell you what your next action is, you're the powerful creator. This is when you go into true choice, next action. Sometimes people talk to me and they say, hey, Chris, I want you to go blah, 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 do this or da, 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 da. And I'm like, well, it's actually not my obvious action. This is it. Because I'm not getting distracted by others. I know my action because I know my superconscious, I'm in it. Does that make sense? I'm in it. I go into it and then I get told the next step. That's all right, Julie, I already knew. So some people, they get nothing. And my take whenever I get a nothing is just let it go. Let it go. I don't need to do anything. When I get a nothing, what I believe and what's happened to me so many times is I've just got to wait. And this, who are those that got a nothing? Is this resonating with you? You just got to be it. You just got to wait. This was the hardest thing for me to let go of. What do you mean nothing? What do you mean there was nothing there? Why? Well, there has to be something. How does that land to those three of you? Is that there's actually nothing to do than to just be for you, not for everyone else. Everyone else got something to do. This to do, I've got to do that, I've got to do more of this, got to do less of that. But for three of you, well, we can figure out all those questions. But I've seen your action at the moment, and it seems like, you know, I seen your post. I think it's the right Gabrielle. I seen your post, and it seems it's just you're there. Just let it flow. Let it go, let it flow. So here's what's interesting is we all can understand the correct action to take by first going into the result and letting that result show up naturally, and then find the right action to take, okay? So, okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm just reading into it, and someone gets a nothing, that's a something. And no, that is the answer. To add to what Karen, that is the answer. See, we need to learn how to create super consciously. And then when you come to the 4-day event, we cover a little bit in the 2-day event, but the super conscious event really showing you how to step into the intuitive part of you and learn to create from your own genius, your own superconscious. So, yeah, Monica, great one. Everything is an action. We're always acting. There is no non-act. Rest is an action, you know. All it means, Gabrielle, is that right now you got a nothing on that choice. So maybe, what was your choice? Let's unpack it, right? So maybe you don't need to do anything on that choice right now. Maybe there's another choice you really should be taking action on, right? So maybe someone said, well, you know, Chris, I'm creating financial abundance. What's it? Nothing. I got a nothing. And then, but they know in the back of their mind, they should really be over here. Right. So no, yeah, well, that makes sense. That makes sense. That makes sense. So that's actually a process. That's why you would have got a nothing. My choice is a loving and affectionate husband. That's a process that gets you to a loving marriage. You see, there's definitely enough. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. The reason why your intuition gave you a nothing on that is because there is nothing you can do for that. However, I bet if you changed your end result to a loving marriage, there would be a something. That's my bet. There's also another aspect of this is sometimes we need to be focusing on a different end result with some action as well. Does that make sense, everyone? Beautiful. So here's the question, and I know I'm going over time, but no, that was right. Yeah, that's the satisfaction in a marriage. Yeah. Romantic love. I choose romantic love. I think that's it for you, Gabrielle. I choose romantic love. That's the end result. It feels so good. Feels so good. And just for the audience, can everyone see the different feeling? And I choose a loving and affectionate partner versus I choose romantic love. You know, it was a loving and affectionate husband, romantic love. This one is, it's got to happen this way. This one is, I'm open. That's what I want. And it may, and likely, in fact, it's very likely that that's how it's going to show up. But when we stay in the control, We stay in the ineffective choice. We're not in the end choice. Oh, that's so good, man. I know it works, Andrew. Andrew just says, I signed up my third client today, 1-to-1, 600 per month. This is nuts. I haven't started my sales campaign yet. People keep showing up. Yeah, right on, Annette. So here's what we do next, all right? And I'm really, some of you, it's your first, your first week, or it's even an intro session for you here. And I'm going like advanced stuff right now. Who's this their first session? This is a deep session to jump straight into. But maybe that's what you needed, Holly. Holly's one of the ones going, oh, and Gabrielle, there you go. So two of the three people, it's their first session that didn't get anything. I get it. You guys are freaking awesome. Great to have you here. So now we ask ourselves, well, how much resistance do we have to this action? So whatever action you got, I want you to ask yourself, okay, so that was the action. If out of 10, how much do I resist that action? How much do I resist that action? Nice. Some of you getting 0, 7, 5. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, cool. So it's very interesting because obviously there's a lot of people in here that done a lot of work. They're going, Chris, I don't resist that at all. See, and then there's a lot of you going 10, 4, 5. So we're going to do a recode on it, obviously. But here's what's interesting. Every single choice, it's either flowing, stuck, or oscillating. It's either flowing, stuck, or oscillating back and forth. So I just want you to know, you've put your resistance in there. And so for a lot of you, it's stuck. You're like, this isn't moving at all. For some of you going, hey, it's a 0, it's a 2, it's flowing. Some of you, it's a 5, it's kind of oscillating. It's like you can push it, but you get pulled back. Push it and pull back. So here's my question is, so what do you think about this action? What do you think about this structure? So what are your thoughts when you think about taking this action? What do you think about it? What do you think about your structure? I want to be here, I'm here, and this is the action I must take. Thanks, Laurie. Many steps, I want it to work, it scares me. It's not concrete enough to get the results I desire. In capitals, I get anxious. Yeah. That's funny, David. So then, what is it that you feel about this choice and this structure? What do you feel? How do you feel about it? Do you feel like, oh, I'm impatient? How do I feel? How do you define yourself in this structure? I want it to happen overnight. Anxious, I want it so bad. I'm impatient. Like a consciousness trapped in a body. It's pretty accurate. So here's the big question before we, big 2 questions before we do the recode today. What is your underlying assumption? What is my underlying assumption? Yeah, it's a very interesting to think, what's my underlying assumption? Yeah. And notice that that's so, your underlying assumption. Yeah, right on, Rob. Right on, Pamela. Nice. It's very powerful for you just to label and notice these structures. Yeah. So here's the last question. Where is the power? In your structure that we're unpacking right now, where is the power? Where's the power being placed? Yeah, look at all of you writing in outside of you. The power is given away, isn't it? Yeah. The power is in this worry of what others will think, or this fear, or this unknown consequences. It's this, worry about not being good enough rather than just not being good enough and having it. Yeah, so the power is outside of you. All right, cool. So you guys ready to recode this and have everyone's resistance to be a 0? Is there anyone that hasn't done an intro session before? Give me a me if you haven't done an intro session, just so I can ensure. Karen hasn't done intro. Holly hasn't done intro. Cool. So this is cool. So how the recode works is we close our eyes and I call out the resistance. We bring it into your superconscious. Okay. And so if I go back to here, this is you, this is your family structure, then this is the unified field. You give me permission from this level, and I'm going to connect into your field here. And the superconscious is out here. And then from here, I can understand what needs to be recoded. Okay. And I want you just to imagine that it's like you're on a football field. At the end of the field is a goal, and you want to get to that goal. That's your true choice. Does that make sense, Karen and Holly? You want to get to that goal, but in the way, when I call out all the resistance, the beliefs, the structures, the emotions, the worries, the fears, they all pop out like little gophers, like those little animals. And when I do the commands, the gophers just scatter, they run away. And then the superconscious with a feather just smooths over all the dirt so that you can just go towards it. Everything that stops you is based on a memory structure that was passed down to you through your family consciousness, a unified field consciousness, or some memory that you created between being born and now. So it's all there, but it's a memory signature. So when we go into it, we can simply release that memory signature. So if everyone's ready to do it, let's go. Let's go. So if everyone's ready, go ahead and close your eyes. Close your eyes. And as you close your eyes, I just want you to give me permission to connect to your superconscious. So just close your eyes and just in your heart or in your mind, I give Chris Duncan permission to connect to my superconscious for an amazing transformation today. All right. All right, here we are. Superconscious, are you there? Superconscious, do you see this choice? Can you please bring all the resistance into the active experience? You don't need to do anything, just eyes closed, just be there. Superconscious, can you please create the perfect treatment plan to bring this resistance down to 0? so this choice can flow into reality. Yeah. Okay, great. Great. Okay, great. Self-love is a priority. Superconscious, do you see the denial of self-love? Yes. Please bring that into the active experience. Please treat the denial of self-love, the judgment of self-love, the ridicule, do a massive change history, and everything is needed. Superconscious, do you see the original event? Is it a priority? Yeah. Okay, the original event, superconscious, bring that into the active experience. And all other events, including future events that are causing worry, past events that are causing regret or pain. When we release emotion, trauma turns to wisdom. Superconscious, please treat all events in the perfect way, in the perfect order, and do a massive change history, and everything is needed. Thank you. It's just a really beautiful, calming blue energy in this field. So just let it come through from the top of your head down through all your chakras, and then out of your base and down into the earth. And just, it's a very vivid blue. Okay, there's a old vow that we created in this time space reality or another time space reality. I will never ever be that. Superconscious, do you see this vow, this declaration? Can you see how it's misguided? Please treat it to a massive change history, and everything is needed. Whew. Okay, superconscious, last one before we check in. Okay. There is a worry about future events or unintended circumstances leading to insurmountable failure. Superconscious, do you see that worry about future events or unintended consequences? Yes. Please treat it into a massive change history and full superconscious recode, taking the resistance from where it is down to where it needs to be. Thank you. Oh, I don't know about you guys, but I feel a circular vortex energy coming through. So if you feel that too, I love you. Whew. Superconscious, please treat body systems, chakras, adrenals, glands, anything related to stress. Please treat all body systems. All right, let me check in with everyone. See how you're all doing. If you'd like to open your eyes and pop into the chat box, how are you all doing? That was for you. Oh, that's good. Powerful. We'll have a guess. Yeah, it's all shifting for you, Holly. It's all moving through. Wow, that's intense. Yin Ping. Yeah, so we're only halfway through. I don't know why, but I'm having trouble seeing these little words. I think we just got to. I think everything's moving. I think everyone feels good. So let's all just jump back in the field and let's finish this off, eh? Cool. Close your eyes and give me permission to connect to your superconscious. Yeah. Superconscious, bring up all the resistance between where we are and zero. Bring it into the active experience. Superconscious, what's a priority? There's a belief structure of needing to work hard, needing to do it, there's a labor of love, labor, workforce. It's good to work hard. It's good to struggle. It's good to struggle. Superconscious, do you see that belief structure? Yes. Working class, it's good to struggle. Good. Yeah, I can only enjoy it if it's been painful to get. Fuck, that's wild right now. Superconscious, do you see that? Yes, please treat it and do a massive change history, and everything is needed on that belief, me included. There's a lot of the weight's on my shoulders. I've got to carry it on my back. Superconscious, do you see all those metaphors? Yes, please treat them and do a massive change history, and everything is needed. If it's going to be, it's up to me. Individualism, superconscious, just please create a big bubble around that everything has to be hard, a struggle, a war, a conflict, competition, and that it's hard. Superconscious, please treat it's hard to have what I want. Do a massive change history on everything inside this bubble, bringing all resistance right down. Thank you. Wow, there you go. I was like, there's a click in this field. It is now superconscious reinforce. It's easy to have what I want, and it's always been that way. Up until now, I've just wanted struggle. Superconscious, please reinforce I'm the predominant creative force in my life. Please reinforce that. Please reinforce this structure, superconscious. Please reinforce this structure. It is easy to have what I want, and it's always been that way. If there are any beliefs, feelings, misguided memories, please recode them at the superconscious level. Do a massive change history, and everything is needed. Superconscious, please recode all family beliefs associated to this. Thank you. Please ground all the memories we've touched today, including memories 1, 2, and 3, quantum memories, family memories, future memories, and all aspects of our consciousness, and tag everything between now and the next session for future treatment. And when you're ready, guys, come back. Come on back. Is that right, David? Nice. Cool. How's everyone going out there? How are the new people? That felt intense and good. Wow, it's possible. Yeah, it is. The pain is gone. Right on, Holly. Cool. Where'd you start, Karen? Nice, Euphema. Great. Great job. Oh, cool. Well, it's a beautiful amount of movement, Karen, 10 to 5. So that's probably all that's ready for today. Nice, 7, 2, 7, 0. Great. Yeah, I think we're all still processing. Yeah. Beautiful stuff. Where's everyone else at? Not everyone's typing into me. If you can only raise your hand because you're on a mobile or whatever, then do that. 4 to 0, 5 to 0. Thank you, so good. 3 to 0, 4 to 0, feeling good. Yeah, Rob, that's interesting. I'm sure it's just moving through. Feel into it. Yeah, and ask yourself what does that mean? What's there? And how does it relate? How does the pain in your hip relates to what we're talking about? It's a message for you. Right, Elaine, that's great. Wow, Nathan, first 0. I love when people get their first 0. Very intense, 5 to 0. Still processing, that was deep. 3 to 1, work to do. 10 to 1, 10 to 4, beautiful. Thanks, Chris. 2 to 0, blissed out, still processing. 10 to 5, good job, Arthur. 3 to 0. Just clarity, 0, 2, very emotional. Right, Kate, well, let me know. Let me know about how it is tomorrow. I get headaches during these, but within a few hours, the next day it's gone. I feel my brain rewiring, yeah. Right on, Rob. Rob says, Rob has pain in his hip, and he said, thanks for the insight, Chris. I just had a revelation. So whenever you're getting pain during these, you want to ask, how does this pain relate to what's going on in the session? There's always a message. Still processing. Well, guys, I went way over time, hey? That wasn't planned. But it was fun. I love it. I'm sure some people had to go, but it's great to have so many of you on. If you're not in our masterclass yet, and this was just a trial session, I have a link for you if you would like to continue having these sessions. We have live events coming up, guys. I want to see you at them, whether it's San Diego event or the Gold Coast event in Australia. 2 days with us is absolutely, yeah, I can, Kathy, absolutely game changing. When you're here for 2 days, 2 days and a night, and you're in this vibe, it's big. So it's included in your masterclass. So your $49 a week program, it's included in that. So please, get a plane ticket if you're not from San Diego or if you're not from the Gold Coast, and be there. You're not going to know until you actually come and see just how much is going to change. Right on, Holly. That'd be awesome. So I'll see you all there, which will be fun. Love you all. Have a great, great, great day. Right on, Arthur. See you there. Great evening, great day. Thanks, Kathy. I'm sure it was. Let me know if you need more of these. We have them each week. Good night. See you, Rob. Cheers, brother. Thanks, Karen. Thanks, Robert. All right, everyone. I'm hanging up now. Bye.